Hello, everyone. Today we are talking about adding coaching and consulting leads to your Dubsado platform. There are two ways to get leads into Dubsado. One is manually adding them yourself, and the other way is through lead capture, through a lead capture form. And I'm gonna show you how to create one of those and add it to your website a little bit later on. But to start with, we're going to just work through adding a contact manually. So you want to head over to the projects area, and you're going to create a new project, and you're going to give the project a title. So I like to call these lead, and then let's say it's a new coaching client. So somebody's emailed you, they've been referred, they want to reach out and have a conversation with you about possibly becoming a coaching client or a consulting client. You're going to manually add their information into Dubsado in this way. So in this case, we're going to create a new client because it's a net new, and then first name and last name. So I have Shane, and these are fictional, by the way, Jason. And then we'll grab an email for him and pop that in here. And then you can choose your project status depending on what you've got set up in this area. There's tutorials on how to set up your project statuses in my playlist. If you have any tags you want to add, you can put a tag in there. And if you want to add some notes, this is a great place to say email sent requested coaching info, and you can maybe add some more details in there if you like. And then we want to create the project, and then we'll create the project. And that's then going to go in your list. It'll open up the project itself. You can see all this different information. So you could go ahead and fill out any more of this information that you wanted to, and you can start using some of these functions with this particular lead. So that's how you would add a lead manually. Okay, so in the forms area, you have these different categories. We're going to do a lead capture, and it's really important that you pick a lead capture for capturing leads, other than the fact that the names match, because lead captures do certain things that other forms don't do, and we want to make sure that we've got those settings when we're building our lead capture. So here's one that I already had in here, so I'm just going to click into this. So building forms in Dubsado is relatively easy. Sometimes it takes a bit of know-how for like design elements and stuff if you want to make them look really nice, but for the most part it's easy to get something that's functional that looks pretty decent without too much work. All of the fields are like drag and drops that you can pull over, so all of these items here are all items that you can pull into the form. So this demo lead capture form just has very basic fields right now: first name, last name, email address, phone number, and I like to put the we are all ears for whatever questions or comments that they may have. Lead capture forms are a great way to not only capture your lead, but also capture information about potential clients up front when they're first looking at working with you. So if you have certain criteria for the types of clients that you want to work in, or work with, you can add additional questions to the form that will help weed some of those out. So you can ask questions like, have you worked with a coach before? If yes, what was the experience? Just so you understand where they're coming from. Or you can ask them if they have a budget. If you're at a certain price point and you know that not everybody's going to be able to make that budget, you can kind of weed those people out and let them know ahead of time before you even push them through to do a discovery call that maybe they're not going to be able to work with you at that level. So there's all kinds of different things you can add into the lead capture form. So once you've got your questions in, we want to just work through all the things on the side here. So the first thing is the form settings. So there's lots of things you can do with a lead capture form. One of them is to apply a default workflow, and we'll discuss workflows in a different video. But basically, it can be as simple as they submit their lead, and then you have an email that goes out to them that says, thanks for submitting your lead. That's a simple workflow that you can build. It also wants to know that once they've submitted their form, what is the thank you message that you want to have come? Maybe you want to have a redirect URL put in. So for me, I have a page that thanks somebody for submitting their form. It's built on on my website. And it also has a bunch of other resources and affiliate links. And I just let them know that we've got your form, and while you're waiting for us to respond, here's some more resources that you might want to look at in the meantime. So I have mine redirecting to a URL. You want to pick the project status. So when we did the manual piece, I showed you how to put the project status in order to save it. So this, you always want to pick a project status. It would usually be new, just so that when this form comes in, it will automatically put all of your new leads in the same place on your dashboard. So that's a really handy tip. And then the project title, you can have a title put in here. So you can just type in new lead, if that's all you want to call it. So when this comes in to set up a new project, it will just call it new lead, but then you're going to get a ton of them and you won't always know which one's which. So it's really great to have one of these client smart fields in there. So you can do the client full name. This will pull the information from here, from these two fields, into here. So now when you look at this in Dubsado, in the list of new leads, you'll see new lead and then client name. So that's really helpful. If you have team members working on your team and you want this lead to go to somebody specific, you can apply that here. And then you have some additional fields around dates, whether there is an expiration on here, and you also have the ability to add some CSS and use the legacy mode if you've been in Dubsado for some time. If not, you probably don't have access to the legacy mode. So once you've run through all the settings, we're going to hop over to the form styling, and this is where you can really start to brand it in line with your business. So you can choose your font size, your font color, and there's a send button that pops up. You can't see it here, but when you embed it, there's a send button. If you want it to say something else, perhaps you want to change it to submit, you can just put that in there. And if you know how to code, you can actually make these forms look really amazing with your own custom CSS. So you can put that in there. And then we're going to head over we're going to save the form first of all. You can also preview it just to make sure you're happy with how it's going to look. Very basic right now. So on its own, it doesn't look like much, but if you're embedding this into a web page, you can have other things that make it look pretty cool. So we'll go back to edit form, and now we're going to go into the sharing area. And there's two ways to share. You can grab the embed code. This is for putting it on a web page, or you can grab a direct link. This is great to put into your email signature, or if you're doing, like reach outs on LinkedIn or something like that, you can just pop them this link to fill in the form, and it will create a new lead in your Dubsado system, just like it would if they had come through your website and done it. So we're going to grab this script code. You just have to click it once and it will grab it all. So we're going to head over to my site, and I'm just going to show you the contact page as it looks now. So, this is all, my site is hosted on WordPress. So this is all hosted in WordPress. So this is what my page looks like when you approach it right now. So you can see I have a scheduler up, and I also have, this is my intake form that I would normally use. So that's already embedded on there, and this goes straight into Dubsado. So when we go into the back end of WordPress and take a look at what this looks like, I use the Divi Builder, but it's pretty easy to put this in on pretty much anything. So this is all the stuff that's already in there. I'm just going to pop a new module down here so you can see how super easy this is. So you're going to add, whoops, a new row, and then we'll add code is the block that you want. And then you're literally just going to paste in the code that we picked up from Dubsado and click on the tick. And the interesting thing is it doesn't always appear like exactly right. So you can see here's the form coming in, but the box doesn't look great here. Oops, let's try that again. There we go. So I can scroll up and down to get to the rest of the fields, but it's not looking how it should. And it does this a lot of the time, but when you look at the live preview or when you look at the live site, it's actually fine. So then we're going to save this. Somewhere over here I have a save button. And then when I head to my site, my live page, and I reload this, you can actually see, here's the new form that we added. And you can see that it doesn't look like it did when we were applying it to the site. So this is how you would add, and you can see the submit form, and I already changed all the coloring and everything for my site. So it's pulling all that through. So that is the really easy way to add a lead capture form to your website if you want to do it that way. There's also the link option that we talked about, and then you have the ability to manually add your leads into Dubsado as well. So that is how you get leads into your Dubsado platform. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to our channel. Take a look at our playlists. You'll find lots of other videos there on not just how to set up Dubsado, but also other platforms that we recommend for coaches and consultants. I'd love to hear from you how this tutorial walkthrough setup worked for you. So please feel free to leave some comments and I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching.